AAA games have been getting a lot of heat over the past couple of years. Rightfully so in my opinion. Prices have gone up, as have the bugs on launch, and honestly, yeah, there's not much more to add to what has already been said by literally everyone. AAA games are too often a complete mess when released out into the wild. Release now, fix later seems to be every studio's slogan. But that isn't my problem with AAA games. Neither is another popular topic for complaining. I know storage is also a big problem with AAA games nowadays, where a game will soon be taking more space on your hard drive than your hard drive had space in the first place. But that's for another video. Those just aren't my personal problems with AAA games. I mean, they are, but they're just not the problems I want to talk about today. Cause my problem is sound. Why sound? Why so specific? What could possibly be the problem there? AAA studios have some of the most talented sound designers out there. Definitely. And this will seem anticlimactic maybe, but my biggest problem is actually not the sound design, but the sound volume. I have no doubt that you've at some point in your life started a video game for the first time and either violently thrown your headset off your head or quickly turned down the volume of your TV. Of course, you then go to the settings, hopefully without being forced to wait for some cutscene to end, which you are unable to follow anyway because my god, this game is loud. And once in the settings, that soundbar is going way down. But why? Why do games do this? Why when you start a game does the audio need to be at 100% volume? Why do they insist on destroying our hearing when instead they could make it 50% or maybe even 70%, allowing us to increase it ourselves if we want to? I'm a game developer myself as well, right? I've made a few tiny games and I've always made sure that when the player starts the game for the first time, they don't get a jump scare immediately followed by hearing loss. I just neatly put the slider at 50%. Too loud still? Go ahead, decrease the volume. Too quiet? All yours, make it louder. It's not that difficult. That said, anyone remember Valve's splash screen? The old splash screen. Like Counter-Strike Source kind of. It's a great example of a game being way too loud when you first start it up. But there's one thing they do that totally makes up for it. Because when you change your game's audio settings, it doesn't just change those settings for the game itself. It also changes that of the splash screen. Do you know how big of a deal that is? Whenever you would next start up that old Valve game, the man on the screen wouldn't be responsible for the damage done to my eardrums. My ears would be safe after all, and I could just play the game whenever I want. Now, you might be able to see it coming, but this isn't normal apparently. Not every game does this. How? How is that not a normal thing? Like how pressing the escape button pauses the game, or how shift is sprint and control is crouch. Minecraft, you suck. I was recently playing the 2021 Hot Wheels game, and just like with many other games, the first time I started it, it nearly ruined my hearing. After I changed the audio settings and then played it again the next day, it did this weird thing. It played fancy, loud car noises while loading a bunch of stuff, and it did so at the normal volume as if I hadn't changed any of the settings. It was so loud, and it took a solid 3 seconds before it switched to the settings I had set. Why? Just why? Like, I know for a fact that it is about as easy as it gets to change that. But why don't they? Because of it, it forced me to change the audio settings back to the default volume, and then going to my Windows audio mixer to just set the game to nearly quiet in there. I'm serious about watching Criminal Minds when playing this game, so don't you dare take any of that away from me. As you can tell, it is a genuine problem in my eyes. Sure, there are bigger problems in the industry, like the bugs and the storage mentioned before, but when you deal with the player's choices this way, even if for a few seconds, it ruins experiences. So please, developers and studios, fix your volume. Don't ruin our hearing, and please, 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 make sure the splash screen and load screens first load the audio settings before playing any sound. I promise it's just one line of code. Anyway, thanks for coming to my rant. Subscribe. See you next time.